Good afternoon and welcome to the Children at Risk Shared Services webinar series. Today our webinar topic is Pedagogical Leadership. Just again, before we get going, there will be a Q&A section at the end of our presentation. And as we are going through, please type out and send any questions you have through the chat. And I'll answer them when we get to the question and answers portion of the webinar. And then you can also jump in at that time with any questions you may have. So we'll go ahead and get started. Pedagogical leadership refers to how we lead teaching and early education programs. Some examples of pedagogy in action and their benefits are site directors serving as instructional leaders when freed from multiple administrative tasks. This can help with staff satisfaction and reduce turnover as staff feel that their director is investing time in their careers. Shared embedded quality improvement staff can support teachers to strengthen teaching and learning. Teachers have time off the floor to think and plan. This gives teachers opportunities to reflect on their work in professional learning communities and feel ownership over their craft. But most importantly, children receive the individualized, reflective teaching they need to succeed. The pedagogical leadership approach empowers and supports directors and teachers by focusing their responsibilities. Center directors are responsible for classroom observations, coaching teachers, coordinating and supporting teachers, as well as coordinating and supporting teacher home visits. This approach helps directors focus on what is most important instead of constantly having to work on administrative tasks and other day-to-day operations that arise. This approach can also help teachers feel more professionalized and respected through cross-center teacher learning communities. Through discussing challenges and best practices with other teachers working with similar age groups or special populations, teachers can feel more ownership over their work, as well as realize that their struggles are not theirs alone. We want to transform professional development. We want to move from providers acting as passive recipients of training to providers driving training at their own centers and homes and making that training program and job embedded. We want to move from providers simply accepting goals and expectations established by others to providers collaborating to set goals and striving for continuous professional learning and improvement. We want to move from providers holding basic compliance orientations to providers having ownership over their own professional learning and co-constructing their own goals for growth and practice. We want to move from providers having high staff turnover to teachers and staff having job satisfaction, paid planning time, and higher wages so that providers don't have continuous staff shortages. How does shared services help support pedagogical learning for providers? Through automation, resource, and staff sharing, site directors are freed from multiple administrative tasks. They can now put more time and energy into coaching teachers in classrooms or plan and participate in home visits or family engagement in which the hubs can act as trainers. The hub can facilitate shared embedded quality improvement staff to support teachers, such as curriculum or health specialists. Teachers receive time off the floor to think and plan through hub-facilitated professional learning communities in which there are opportunities for directors, teachers, and staff to learn and reflect on their work. Teachers have opportunities to grow in their jobs, gain degrees and credentials, and deepen teaching skills, and more, all facilitated by the Alliance Hub. On the next slide, we will show examples of how pedagogical learning has been successfully deployed in other alliances and how they reach those goals. Lesson from Colorado: directors can focus on quality. By joining a shared services alliance, directors can free themselves from excess hours spent on administrative work and instead focus on improving the quality in their center or home through things like staff coaching, family engagements, or home visits. At Early Connections Learning Centers located in Colorado Springs, Colorado, directors were able to act as pedagogical leaders in their programs and were free to work on quality. In their alliance, center directors are responsible for classroom observations, coaching teachers, monitoring assessments, supervising teachers in classroom and home visits, and meeting together with directors every 2 weeks through a director-level community of practice supported by Alliance-wide Curriculum Coordinator and VP of Center Operations. Encourage their teachers to participate in cross-center teacher learning communities by age group, so toddlers, teachers would learn together, school-age teachers would learn together, all supported by the Alliance Hub. They also encourage their teachers to participate in an agency-wide teacher representative meeting. Lessons from Florida and Washington. Embedded and quality support staff. Liberty City Early Learning Alliance, located in Miami, Florida, was able to offer a site-based pedagogical leader for each participating center. Additionally, the Alliance conducted site visits where they took new members to centers of excellence or centers that transition into their model to emphasize and demonstrate best practices in their areas. Sound Child Care Solutions, an alliance located in Seattle, Washington, created a cross-site pedagogical leader group led by teacher volunteers. This alliance also worked with directors to co-create a professional development plan. Tactics from other states, communities of practice, and off-the-floor planning. The Collaborative Teachers Institute, an alliance located in Santa Fe, New Mexico, created a reflective community of practice. This includes a monthly meeting of educators in which the attendees reflect on their work with children by sharing classroom experiences and documentation of children's work and words. The meetings follow a structured protocol that allows time and space for educators to learn from each other's experiences. One best practice from the Peer Support Network in Georgia, though they're not actually an alliance, they're a standalone peer support network, is that they gave training hours to the directors and owners that attended and offered a $100 stipend for each participant. This took a lot of the pressure off of the attendees since very often it is difficult to tear away from the classroom or their site. The Liberty City Learning Alliance, located in Miami, Florida, utilized their monthly meetings to work with business leaders to help identify the human and financial resources needed to ensure that pedagogical leaders and teachers have paid time off the floor to engage in reflective practice. Please note that a shared subpool gave classroom teachers release time for planning and professional development. If that sounds interesting to you, keep an eye out for our webinar on substitute pools. So this is continued communities of practice and off-the-floor planning. It's an example from Santa Fe, New Mexico's alliance. You can see here that at the beginning of it starts at the center or wherever the teacher is, and it shows that they observe and collect and document what they're experiencing. And then they learn and study and make decisions while they're teaching. But then through the communities of practice, they can also go to a monthly meeting and have a collaborative study and interpretation session with other like-minded teachers. And then they can collaboratively plan and hypothesize how they might handle situations. And then they're able to take all this knowledge back into their program and implement what they've learned. This is just an example of a model that you could use if you wanted to roll out a community of practice in your alliance. Lessons from Washington. Teacher and staff growth. Shared services alliances support child care providers through pedagogical leadership. In the case of Sound Child Care Solutions, a shared services alliance located in Seattle, Washington, was able to support 133 teachers and directors in their pursuit of further education. As of 2015, these staff attained 10 CDAs, 14 associate's degrees, 34 bachelor's degrees, and 11 master's degrees.